On the eve of the Easter celebrations, we welcome you to Primetime News. Good evening, I'm Michael Madimba. Another reminder that if it's your first time joining us, please subscribe, press the like button, and be sure to click on the bell icon to stay abreast with the latest local and global news. We begin the bulletin in the National Assembly, where Speaker of the August House, Professor Peter Kachavivi, has confirmed receiving a petition from the Caprivi Concerned Group of the Zambezi region, who have proposed a referendum on the Zambezi region.
In terms of Rule 96A of the Standing Rules and Orders, a petition submitted to my office on the 29th March 2022 by the Caprivi Concerned Group. The petition is calling on the National Assembly to, and I quote, exercise its powers in terms of Article 62(2)G of the Namibia Constitution to initiate, approve, or decide to uphold a referendum on the Caprivi Strip for the natives or customary people of that territory to themselves democratically and constitutionally decide whether or not they want to be independent from Namibia. End of the quote. Honorable members, let me finish the petition. Honorable members, that this petition is going to be submitted to the Standing Committee dealing with petitions, and once the committee has considered it, it shall submit its recommendations to the Standing Committee on Rules and Orders and Internal Arrangements for referral to the relevant Parliamentary Standing Committee for investigation and report back to this Assembly. I so moved.
The Popular Democratic Movement lawmaker Ina Hingari on Tuesday urged President Dr. Hage Geingob to take a salary cut for a couple of months as a symbol of nobility and as a means of instilling a sense of kind-heartedness amongst the citizens. Lydia Pitiri produced this insert.
Yes, as I was saying, Honorable Deputy Speaker, Chairperson of the Whole House Committee, there is a recent trend in Sub-Saharan Africa and in the politics of Sub-Saharan Africa in most countries. You look at Rwanda, you look at Zambia. The President of Zambia, President Hichilema Hakainde, has just hit 8 months without a salary. President Paul Kagame, when he came to power, took a salary cut as president of that country, as a sign and as a symbol of nobility and to instill a sense of sharing even amongst the citizens. So as a young person, my question is, when is the president taking a cut to his salary? Or is he ever going to take a position where he says, for these next few months, because of the poverty, because of the ongoing conditions in the education system and so forth, I as president and head of state am going to take a salary cut. Is that ever going to happen, Honorable Minister? Should we be looking forward to that? Thank you.
Now, onto some news that may disappoint poultry lovers. The Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform has cancelled and recalled all imports and in-transit permits for live poultry, birds, as well as poultry products from the USA due to an outbreak of highly pathogenic avian influenza. Molisa Simeyasa compiled this insert.
The ministry announced the decision on Tuesday, stating it is immediately suspending imports and in-transit movements of live poultry, birds, raw poultry products, live ostriches, and raw ostrich products from the USA. It stated cooked poultry products for commercial purposes from the USA may still be imported under the issued veterinary import permits. Since highly pathogenic avian influenza has an incubation period of 21 days, the suspension is also effective 21 days prior to the date of start of the event. Joy Gosses, Nampa News.
On to matters pertaining to road safety. The governor of the Karas region, Aleta Friedrich, whilst launching the Easter weekend roadblocks in Keetmanshoop, On Wednesday, said over the years, the region has been boasting of a significant decrease in road fatalities, but noted that this time around, the locust invasion has shown devastating results in economic losses to farmers, as well as loss of lives on our roads.
Therefore, we must take extra care this time around when entering areas affected by locust infestation by ensuring that we decrease speed and proceed with caution in the affected areas. As stakeholders, we have worked together very well over the past year to the extent that we have succeeded to reduce motor vehicle accident fatalities around the country. Hence, it is my wish that we remain vigilant and ensure that we work together to keep our roads free from road accidents. We should draw lessons from our past experiences and adopt better ways of ensuring our safety and that of the other road users. As both the road users and the infrastructure managers, we have equal responsibility. As much as we want roads authority to put up road signs, as road users, it's for us to read what is on the road and comply with the road signs that are on the road.
Kindly stand by for your top roundup. In tonight's Primetime B segment, we begin at State House. The Business Rescue Task Force earlier this morning met with President Dr. Hage Geingob, where they handed a final report and recommendation on legislation, policies and regulations related to commercial sectors for rescuing businesses in financial distress.
And then we can go to the next slide. I think the business rescue capacity and ethics is a key aspect to bringing the right experience in this space. And we also recommend to establish a link with existing professional bodies to oversee the accreditation and qualification that these practitioners will bring. The better experience, the better the outcome. That has certainly been proven to stand true in the research. It's a very fast process also, and I think that's where the experience comes in. Typically, within 10 days, that business rescue practitioner must come up with a plan to solve their business issues. If they can't solve it in that time, then it's probably better to go to the liquidation. And that's on the assumption that it's the right time and there's enough time to save the business. So it is not a long drawn out process, because that's not going to help anyone. And then in terms of our last work stream around the immediate business rescue initiatives, I think the key item that's at the top of the priority has not been addressed talks to the existing COVID relief programs that was announced by the Minister of Finance in April 2020 already, but there has been a very slow take-up. We've done a detailed analysis about that, and also the key stakeholders, Bank of Namibia, the commercial banks, have discussed changes to make it better for businesses to take it up, and that is receiving priority attention at those platforms as well, and they will relaunch that imminently. There's also other institutions, we've written to some, we've engaged with some, but hoping that they will take up some of the proposals made around relief in cash flow to businesses. I think we can't overemphasize the need to reduce red tape in a number of aspects. It is actually phenomenal how many small pockets of administration, levies, cash flow drain sits in the system all over. And that is causing a severe strain on businesses. So if that can be addressed, it will be a tremendous boost.
Moving on to the central bank. The Bank of Namibia has increased the repo rate to 4.25%, citing it as appropriate to safeguard the one-to-one link between the Namibian dollar and the South African rand. This was decided during its Monetary Policy Committee bi-monthly meeting on Tuesday, following a review of the global, regional and domestic economy, as well as financial developments. The decision is cognizant of the need to counter the build-up of inflationary pressures in the economy. Isabel Bento compiled this report.
On the 11th and 12th of April 2022, the Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Namibia held its bi-monthly meeting and decided to increase the repo rate by 25 basis points to 4.25%. The MPC cited that this decision is appropriate to safeguard the one-to-one link between the Namibia dollar and the South African rand while meeting the country's international financial obligations. The decision was taken following a review of the global, regional and domestic economic as well as financial developments, mindful of the need to counter the build-up of inflationary pressures in our economy. Let's try and understand why we have actually taken the decision by looking at recent domestic developments. Namibia's real gross domestic product rebounded in 2021 from a contraction recorded in 2020. Domestic inflationary pressures are building up while growth in private sector credit extension edged higher. The stock of international reserves declined slightly but remained sufficient to support the currency peg and meet the country's international financial obligations.
The Sport Planet segment commences with Champions League football. Atletico Madrid could face UEFA action after their Champions League quarter-final with Manchester City on Wednesday ended with ugly scenes on and off the pitch. Scuffles broke out late in the match and in the tunnel as Atletico's frustrations at their failure to prise open City's defense bowled over. DPA sheds more insight.
City, protecting a 1-0 lead from last week's first leg, withstood a barrage of pressure, intense provocation from a fired-up Atletico and a hostile atmosphere to reach the semi-finals after a hard-fought goalless draw. The first major flashpoint came late in the game as a melee erupted after Felipe kicked City's Phil Foden, whose head he had also bloodied in a poor earlier challenge. Amongst the trouble, Atletico defender Stefan Savic pulled unused City substitute Jack Grealish's hair after the pair had exchanged words. Felipe was sent off for his involvement. The problems continued after the teams left the field, with players needing to be separated in the tunnel. TV footage showed objects being thrown and police reportedly became involved to restore the order. There were also suggestions City manager Pep Guardiola had liquid thrown at him as he headed towards the tunnel. Guardiola later said he had nothing to say in relation to the trouble, but did add everyone saw the action. Action by UEFA would come just days after Atletico were hit with a partial stadium closure for the second leg against City for the discriminatory behavior of their fans during the game in Manchester last week. That punishment was suspended just hours before the match on Wednesday following an appeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sport.
On to Bundesliga football. Leaders Bayern Munich must put the Champions League fiasco against Villarreal in the past and quickly switch focus to the Bundesliga, as a 10th consecutive league title is all that remains left for the season. Bundesliga leaders Bayern Munich have now only the league title left to fight for after they were knocked out of the Champions League following a 1-0 draw with Villarreal on Tuesday. DPA again brings us this insert. Samuel Chukwueze scored 2 minutes from time to sink Bayern's hopes of reaching the semi-finals and spark some shades of crisis amid the final moments of the season. The German record champions, however, must now shake things off and bounce back when they visit third-bottom Arminia Bielefeld on Sunday, aiming for a 10th consecutive domestic title. Bayern lead the league with a good 9-point advantage over second-placed Borussia Dortmund, who welcome VfL Wolfsburg on Saturday. But the Bavarians cannot push their luck, especially just a week before they host Dortmund at the Allianz Arena. Kindly stand by for your sports roundup. With the Sport Planet segment, we've come to the end of the weekly installment of Primetime News. Many thanks for joining us. Once more, another reminder that if you're new to this channel, please subscribe, like, share and hit the notifications bell to stay abreast with the latest happenings locally and globally. Feel free to interact with us in the comment section. Catch us Tuesday next week as we bring you yet another edition of Primetime News. The entire cast and crew wish you a serene and blessed Easter holiday break. If you're driving, we urge you to buckle up, exercise patience and adhere to the road safety code. Do enjoy your company with loved ones. Until next week, it's bye-bye.